Alright guys, what is going on? Match reaction, Spurs 1, Arsenal 4. And well, what a response from Arsenal, what a result for Arsenal, what a win for Arsenal in the North London derby. But it was just a little bit too easy, that, I think, for Arsenal tonight. Spurs, absolutely terrible. I mean, Spurs are actually so bad, aren't they? They really are terrible, Spurs. But, you got to give the credit to Arsenal. You got to give the praise to Arsenal. All the pressure was on them. The Wolves result midweek wasn't good enough. City winning last night against Newcastle put all the pressure on Arsenal for this game, and they've responded very, very well, Arsenal. But I didn't expect it to be that easy, to be honest with you. I thought it would be a little bit more challenging for Arsenal, but yeah, it was just far too easy tonight. But, I'm going to touch on Spurs first. I know quite a lot of Spurs fans are getting quite worried about the potential of them getting relegated. Personally, I don't think that will happen. I just can't imagine Tottenham Hotspur in the Championship. It just wouldn't look right. It would feel a bit weird, but there's no doubt that it genuinely could happen. It genuinely could happen because Spurs are shocking. They are absolutely terrible. And I know they've been absolutely decimated by injuries this season, but there's no excuse. There's no excuse. I mean, to be beaten 4-1, 8-2 on aggregate, in the North London derby against your biggest rivals is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And, I feel sorry for Igor Tudor, coming in as your first game in charge against Arsenal, who are far and away 10 times better than Spurs in every single department. he never really stood a chance, really. I did think Spurs could potentially get something, but after the first 20, 25 minutes of this game, you kind of knew that Arsenal were going to win this game pretty comfortably. And that is exactly what happened. But yeah, it doesn't get any easier for Spurs. They just don't look... They're just... I don't know, they're just terrible, Spurs. And I know injuries played a big part in that this season, but it's just not good enough. And I think Igor Tudor, he's got a real job on his hands, to be honest with you, because I do think Spurs will stay up, and I think that probably is the priority for Spurs, which is, kind of crazy to say, just to say in the Premier League. Obviously, they are in the Champions League, but they're not going to win that. But yeah, they are just awful. But, touching back on Arsenal, like I just said at the start, they needed to respond, Arsenal, and I think all the pressure was on Arsenal tonight, if I'm being honest with you. And yeah, they played really, really well, Arsenal. They really did play well. This evening, the gap is now back to 5 points. Obviously, Man City have a game in hand. But I always thought this game would be pretty easy for Arsenal. I did. I think the game next week is going to be a lot more difficult against Chelsea at the Emirates. I would back Arsenal to win that, especially at home. And considering how Chelsea played against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup semi-final, I think that will give Arsenal quite a lot of confidence. But yeah, it's a good win for Arsenal. It's a big win for Arsenal. I think they needed it after that Wolves result. Score 4 goals, 3 points, back to 5-point gap. Them Arsenal fans can go home happy and sleep well tonight, knowing that it's a 5-point gap again. But Man City is still there. They're still going to apply pressure on Arsenal. I've got no doubt. It's going down to the wire this time, so race it is, and you know, it's always that question of can Arsenal get over the line, and tonight they played very well, got the 3 points, did what they needed to do. But let's talk about the goals. Arsenal take a 1-0 lead in the 32nd minute. Eberici Eze scoring for Arsenal again against Spurs. Obviously, got the hat-trick at the Emirates in the earlier fixture. Scores here again. It's a little bit lucky. Arsenal working down the right-hand side. A lot of Arsenal's attacks, especially in the first half, are coming down Saka's side. Gets a little bit lucky because Saka gets past, not Colomani, gets past Papa Sarr, kind of just bobbles his way through to the byline, gets in the low cross. Eze chips it up. I'm not sure if he means to chip it up, Eze, but he chips it up to himself. Hits it on the volley. No chance for Vicario. And Arsenal take a 1-0 lead. And at that point, I was kind of fearing the worst for Spurs because they weren't playing well. And I was like, this could be a long evening. But 2 minutes later, Kolo Muani equalises for Spurs. Instant response. Just what they needed, Spurs. And it's a mistake, actually, by Declan Rice. You know, Declan Rice, arguably one of the best midfielders in the world. Not like him to make a mistake like this. Tries to play it out from the back. Muani tackles him. He just drives into the box, Muani, at an angle. And no one can get tight enough to him. Gets the shot away. Goes past Raya. And just like that, 2 goals in 2 minutes. Just like that, it's 1-1. But, you know, that was how the first half ended, 1-1. But Arsenal were dominant in that first half. They really were dominant. And Spurs were lucky to go in at half-time 1-1, to be honest. They should have gone in at the break losing. But it wasn't to matter, really. It didn't really matter to Arsenal because 2 minutes into the second half, Victor Gyökeres in the 47th minute gives Arsenal a 2-1 lead. And this is just terrible defending, in my opinion. Listen, it's a good finish from Gyökeres, but the amount of space, the amount of time that he has got is just abysmal from Spurs. Timber plays the drilled pass into him. I don't even know how Timber plays that pass, first and foremost, to Gyökeres. But, you know, Gyökeres, so much time, takes it under control. Nobody's closing him down at all. No one's in 5 yards of him. Takes a shot from the edge of the box, goes past Vicario. Arsenal take a 2-1 lead. And then you kind of just knew at that point it was kind of over, really. And then in the 61st minute, it was over. Eberici Eze scoring again, making it 3-1 to Arsenal. Spurs try and pass out from the back, lose it in the midfield. Eze wins it back. Eze plays it through to Saka. Saka gets tackled, but the ball luckily falls to Eberici Eze, sticks it into an empty net. And yeah, got, you know, Eze, I think Eze scored 6 Premier League goals this season. 5 of them have come against Spurs. I'll start for you there, but yeah, 2 goals again for Eze against Spurs, but wasn't able to get his hat-trick because he did get brought off for Odegaard. But yeah, Arsenal complete control at this point, 3-1 up. And then, you know, they just sorted the game out. But it got even better for Arsenal. Victor Gyökeres making it 4-1 right at the end in the 94th minute. Good play by Odegaard, slips him through. And then Gyökeres just uses his strength on Archie Gray, holds him off, gets away the shot, bends it round Vicario. Really nice finish by Gyökeres. And 4-1 to the Arsenal. Really good response. But yeah, Spurs are just absolutely terrible. But yeah, fair play to Arsenal. Big win. You know, Arsenal will not go away. They're not going to go away, Arsenal, but neither are Manchester City. It's going to be an intriguing title race. But guys, let me know your thoughts on the match in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll catch you later.